Alright guys, my vacation is here, and yesterday felt so good to not have to wake up at 6:30 and go into school. You know, I'm sure you feel the same way if you go to work or if you're still in school too. I get the whole week off. Today's Wednesday, so I still got today, Thursday, and Friday. Unfortunately, most of my friends that I play with are either working, you know, the formers, or my other friends who are at school because they live in a different state and they don't get off like we do. And my one friend that does get off today, well, he has the week off like I do. He just has a test this morning, so I have to wait until maybe 12 or so until he gets on at the earliest. That was a fail to get away from that grenade. So, oh, it's really early in the morning. I had to wake up, take our paper out, you know, just whatever paper-themed recyclables we have, whether it be cardboard boxes, newspapers, that sort of thing. And I'm looking out the window right now, and it's still snowing pretty hard. Not like windy snow, it's just big flakes, and it's just falling in sheets. I think they said it was supposed to change over to rain, and that would not be good because then at night everything would just turn into ice, which would suck, especially for going to school on Monday if it's still like that. But anyway, what I did for 2 hours last night, you can call me a no-life all you want, or you can call me Mr. Nostalgia, because for 2 hours last night, after my friends got off to go to bed because they do have school in the morning, I was just on YouTube listening and watching the old Power Rangers episodes and theme songs. More so the theme songs than the episodes. I couldn't be bothered to watch like a full episode when I was that tired, but I just wanted, for some weird reason, I got that urge to just listen to the old canceled seasons theme songs. And let me tell you, it felt so great because, you know, call me a freak, I remember most of the words, if not all of the words. Like, I knew all the words to Mighty Morphing and Lost Galaxy and all the early episodes, seasons, not episodes. What's weird is, like, I used to think In Space was my first season, and I used to think it was the first season because I never saw anything before that. But then I watched ABC Family started putting on Mighty Morphing on like Saturday mornings and stuff, so I started watching that, and obviously you could tell it was older, but it was so great. Amazing, you know, obviously, because it has Tommy in it. You know, he's like the... When you think of Power Rangers, you think of Tommy, because he's been in so many seasons. And what the hell, that Rolling Thunder only got 2 people. I call bullshit. And I'm dead. So, In Space was my first season. You know, back when I was like 4 or 5. Andros as the Red Ranger being an alien from like that space colony was a really cool thing for me. Like, just be like, whoa, like he's an alien, but he looks like a human. And him as the Red Ranger was really cool because their uniforms were so like streamlined, you know. They've done that with like a lot of the costumes now. They've made them a lot really streamlined, like Ninja Storm. It's so smooth looking, and that's from, you know, 5 or 6 years ago. But then I've decided to be a nerd, and thanks to the YouTube comments, I basically got like a full backstory of like the progression of seasons. I had watched after In Space, obviously, like, you know, Lost Galaxy came next, and I thought that was the 2nd season. Turns out it was like, I think it was the 5th season. And then ABC Family, after they started rolling Mighty Morphin, they started doing the other 2, Zeo and Turbo. Zeo, I never really watched that much because it wasn't really on. And Turbo was an instant favorite because I was into cars at the time, and the fact that their Zords were like cars and stuff, and of course the fact that Justin, the Blue Ranger, was like 13. You know, it it not only me, it gave a lot of children hope that they could be Rangers one day. And then what happens is, like, at the end of Turbo, they have to lift off into space to avoid, like, hurting their families or something. It's like some kind of like secret identity thing, I think. So they launch into space without Justin because he can't go because he's too young. That's the drawback to being a kid. You can't be in space except for one guest appearance. So they go into space. I think they land on Andros' ship, and he finds them, fights them, and then realizes, hey, they're good. So I'm going to give them my other morphers. And hopefully they can fix up my friend Zane, who is the Silver Ranger, and he was freaking amazing. Andros and Zane, their costumes were, I mean, the Silver Ranger looked so beast. And then, you know, you've had numerous 6th Rangers throughout the past. You've had Tommy is green, Jason is gold. You know, things like the non-person Rangers that would just show up. That was more in the early seasons. Then the Silver Ranger. Who was the Lost Galaxy 6th Ranger? I can't. Oh, the Magna Defender. Then in Lightspeed Rescue, it was Ryan as the Titanium Ranger. He was amazing. He was a fucking beast on wheels, man. He was fucking great. He had the attitude that I wanted out of a Ranger. Then Time Force had the Quantum Ranger, and Eric, who was a real douchebag as a character. Then Wild Force had Merrick as like the Wolf, and then after that, just because it was Nick Saban from Mighty Morphin Season 1 to Time Force Season 7. So he did the first 7 years, and then Disney took over Power Rangers, and with the exception of a few things, they totally turned me off of the idea of Power Rangers. Not only because I was like growing up, and I was like moving past it. I was getting into more, like I was getting into The Simpsons and eventually Family Guy. Like I watched South Park for the first time when I was like 14. I watched Family Guy for the first time when I was like 12. And then The Simpsons since I was like 10. But Nick Saban made Power Rangers interesting up until then. Then when Disney took it over, at the start was Wild Force. That was the first one they did. It was okay. Like, I still watched it expecting it to be good, but it never really hit the expectations that I had set for it. It and a bunch of the other seasons were real letdowns. It ended up being where I would be into it one year, I'd go off the next, I'd go back on the next, I'd be off the next. And the ones I was on was Ninja Storm. That was pretty good. I liked that idea. To have like 3 Rangers and have them fighting another 2, and then they eventually come together. And then Cam, the nerd, ends up being the Samurai Ranger. That was pretty cool. Then the other one I was into was SPD. You know, Space Patrol Delta. That was pretty sick. Like the whole idea of like the police force. The ones I didn't like were Dino Thunder, Mystic Force, and one other one. Okay. But now, Nickelodeon is coming out with a new one. I think this is probably going to be like season 12 or 13. Because since the latest one I can remember, in like the seasons that I started watching, that was Mystic Force. And since then, since Mystic Force, they've had Operation Overdrive, RPM, and one other one. So, but those were all Disney. Now, Nick Saban is coming back to do Power Rangers Samurai. So, hey, you know what? I'm 17, but I'm watching it. And I'm hopeful that Nick Saban can save this franchise because it used to be amazing. Then they, you know, Disney started to ruin it, except for Wild Force and SPD. They were good for the most part. Wild Force had the Forever Red episode, which brought all the Red Rangers from every season together, including the Alien Rangers, which was absolutely sick to watch. I was like, oh my god, there's like 10 Red Rangers. It's so cool. So that's really it, and the game's over. I'm doing 360s, and so I'm hoping that Power Rangers Samurai is going to be good. Comes out in February, and I can't believe I just spent 10 minutes talking about Power Rangers. Are you kidding me? Call me a nerd all you want, praise me all you want for knowing it this much, or just say, you're just one of the group. I don't care. Give this a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time for my next game. Peace out.